Greetings, Mumford Mustangs. This is Ms. Parker, your speech teacher. Happy to see you all again and have you here with me. This week we are going to cover Speaking to Persuade, which comes from Unit 5, our Chapter 11 reading. And so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it, as your next assessment will be a persuasive speech. So here are some things to think about our objectives for this unit. First and foremost, you will be able to describe the difference between informative and persuasive speaking. You will be able to share the characteristics of different audience types and the most effective persuasive strategies for those different audiences. You will be able to identify and understand ways to build prestige as a speaker, understand the responsibility that comes with persuasion, and lastly, use evidence and reasoning together to create a logical, persuasive presentation. So we're just going to jump right into it. First and foremost, what is persuasion? Persuasion is a means by which one person can cause another to want to believe, think, or to do. Okay? A way in which one person can cause someone else to want to believe, to think, or to do. You adopt new beliefs, attitudes, and actions constantly as a person. When we look at advertisements, for example, that may change our behavior and patterns in purchasing certain items or making new purchases, right? So that is an example of persuasion. Persuasion is different from informative because informative gives just the information, the facts. However, persuasion is when you, again, are trying to sway or cause someone to want to believe, to think, or to do, and adopt new beliefs, attitudes, and actions. Next, let me go ahead so you can see this. What are the sources of persuasion? So they come from personal drives, needs, and desires. Additionally, from our own thinking processes, how we think, and then character and personality of others. So again, ways that we can be persuaded is based upon our own drives, needs, and desires that we want for ourselves, our own thinking processes, how we think about things, how we see things, how we perceive things, and then also the character and personality of others that are around us. Okay. So what are the needs of your listeners? So what you have to understand that there are several different types of people, or in this case, audience members that can be listening to us. In order to know the needs of your listeners, you must know the type of audiences that you have. So we're gonna watch this short clip and then dig more into audiences.
Quality. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about today before you give your speeches next week are the 4 types of audience. It's really important that you understand sort of a perspective of how to come at your audience, whether they agree with you, disagree with you, hate your topic, disagree with your position, could care less, etc. So there's basically 4 types of audience, and this is what I want you to pay attention to. See if you can determine what our class is. You've had about 2 or 3 months now spent with our class. You have an idea about where people stand possibly on your topic. If not, then I'll give you some tips on that at the end. But I think you'll kind of be able to ascertain what kind of audience you have in your classroom and what position you want to take and how you want to take it. So first, let me just label the 4 types of audience. Number 1 is a hostile audience. Number 2 is a critical audience. Number 3 is an uninformed audience. This is also a disinterested or uninterested audience, an audience that really doesn't care what you're talking about. And number 4 is a sympathetic audience, an audience who's absolutely behind you 100%. So you want to think about these 4 audiences and which type we have in our class based on your position with your topic and how you want to approach the class. So the first one is the hostile audience. this is an audience, they're not really hostile, like, well, maybe they are, sometimes they are, but for our purposes, what we mean by that is an audience who doesn't agree with your position, doesn't like what you're saying, or maybe has a different way of perceiving your what you're saying. So if you're maybe saying you're pro gun control, maybe most people in your audience aren't. They want to have free reign on guns, and they absolutely disagree with you. That would be considered a hostile audience. So don't think about hostile like enemies. Just think of them as opposed to your perspective or your opinion. Okay. If you think this is true more than 50%, if the majority of your audience you believe is in the hostile category, then your most important thing that you can do is to reach out and find common ground. So you're going to give very little of your opinion. You're mostly going to spend time educating, talking about common ground, like what everybody wants. Find the things we all want, regardless of what position we are politically or socially or lifestyle. Try to gain their trust. Humor is okay, point it at yourself. This is the example I gave, I think, in your class one day about if you're a Democrat trying to give a speech to a group of Republicans or vice versa. You're going to have to let everyone know that, yes, you realize this is an interesting position you're in, and this is kind of funny, and that it's an uphill battle for you, but we all want the same things. We all want happy families. We all want clean air. We all want safe and healthy environments, regardless of our politics. We just have a different way of approaching that. So that would be the kind of example of finding common ground. So you create the sense that you're trustworthy, you have their best interest at heart, that this is something you truly believe in, and why. So the convincing is just done, in the sense that they don't throw tomatoes at you, or they don't not pay attention to you. They actually might pay attention to you. So that's how you want to approach a hostile audience. If you find that you have a critical audience is a group of people who already know your topic. Maybe they know more than you do, or they definitely think they know more than you do. So, for example, if I'm giving like I did a few weeks ago, I had to give a speech to a group of speech teachers like me, and a presentation. I had to know more than them, and I had to have a different perspective. I also had to honor what they know. So the language I used was soft. Things like, I'm sure most of you have experienced this as well as I have. One of the ideas I had experiencing it was blank. So I acknowledge their intelligence, acknowledge their experience. I give total respect to the audience. And I am heavy, heavy, heavy on the logos and the examples, because those could be indisputable. So yes, you're an expert, but I'm an expert too, or I'm an expert in a different way than you, something like that. So hostile is where you're really trying to gain trust, and you're very, very cautious about your language, and you're really the one saying, I know, I know I'm gonna. You don't have to do this, okay? That's just the attitude you have, not the body language. So you want to be cautious. You want to be critical. You're also showing a lot of respect to the audience about who they are and what they know. And we're all college students, and we've all taken sociology. One of the things I thought was interesting about sociology was blank. So you're saying, yes, I acknowledge we're on equal footing here. This was just a direction that I went. Okay, for the critical. And then you're heavy on the facts, the statistics. Explain them. Show us graphs and explain them. Give us your resources. Do not forget to cite your sources, students. Do not forget to cite your sources. We have not heard enough citations. You will be counted off for that, as you were in the informative. I think that was surprising to many of you. It surprised me that you didn't cite your sources. Cite your sources, okay? And don't put them at the end of your PowerPoint. That's not what I'm talking about. While we're hearing you talk, we want to hear those sources. All right, that was just a commercial break. Now, for the third type of audience, we have the uninformed audience. I would say generally, not 100%, but generally, this is typical for a college audience, because you have so many assorted people in your class, all coming from different directions and backgrounds. So it's unlikely they're going to be as maybe educated about your topic as you are. But maybe they are, but we're not going to count on that. So what you want to do with an uninformed audience is you want to assume that they don't know as much as you do. So now you're going to be really informative. And for an uninformed audience, you really spend a good, maybe half of your speech educating your audience about the topic, good, bad, and ugly. Always be balanced. If there's a dark side to your opinion, for example, if I'm against animal testing, I will also need to acknowledge that without animal testing, how are we going to know about drugs if they're healthy or not? Are we going to test on humans? So that's a problem. So you need to address that. In other words, your opinion is never pure. You're never 100% right. So acknowledge that and show us where the gaps are, the holes are in your logic, the problems with your position. Because again, gun control would be another one. Yes, we all want to be safe. So is it safer to not have guns in the street, or is it safer to have guns to protect yourself from those illegal people who are going to have guns in the street? I mean, we're all over the place with everything. So you need to acknowledge the good, the bad, and the ugly about your opinion. That gives trust to your audience. So keep that in mind too for your entire opinion speech, no matter what kind of audience you think you have. But the uninformed is where you educate, and then you tell us why you've fallen in what position and what the benefits are for us, the audience. Finally, you have a sympathetic audience. Perhaps your opinion is we should get out for the full week on Thanksgiving. Nice opinion, right? That we shouldn't have to come to school at all for Thanksgiving. Okay, during Thanksgiving week. I'm pretty sure most of your audience is going to agree with you. So now what you want to do is motivate. If your audience is already sympathetic, you don't have to educate them, just a little bit, maybe 1 point, give them a little bit of something. But mostly they're already with you. So you need to create you're a cheerleader, and you're creating cheerleaders, and then you're going to ask them to do something. Now, if you know that your audience is hostile, you can't, in the end of your audience, ask them to go, ask a group of Republicans to go vote Democrat. They're not going to do that. That's unrealistic. You're just asking them to, hey, soften up, pay attention. That's all I'm asking. Maybe in time, you'll see it my way or our way. Same with critical. And uninformed, maybe. Uninformed, you have a possibility of motivation. You can ask an uninformed audience, because an uninformed audience is sort of ripe to take your information and do something with it. If it's the first time they've ever really thought about something or heard about something, they might be motivated. Like, wow, I never thought about that. I should do that. So that might be another opportunity for you to not only educate, but motivate as well as maybe your final point. What could they do? If you're doing organ donation, then you might want to ask them in the end to, go online and fill out, to this address and fill this out, see how easy it is, show them what it is, what happens next, and get them to actually sign up to be an organ donor. That would work. It also works in sympathetic. In fact, in the sympathetic, that's what you're going to focus on. You're going to focus on giving a little bit of background in case there's a few people who don't know what you're talking about, and then motivate. What can they do? If they donate $10 a month, where does it go? How would it help? How do they donate $10 a month? What's the downside to that? Et cetera. So you're always going to be honest about good, bad, and ugly. You're going to try to motivate in the uninformed and the sympathetic, and you might suggest that for the critical, put your money where your mouth is kind of thing. You're not going to try to motivate in the hostile. You're just going to try to educate, find common ground, soften up your audience a little bit, help them to trust you. Okay, I hope this has been helpful to you. I just want to remind you, there's no aggressive language, nothing in any opinion speech would be acceptable that would be suggest that someone else's opinion who's different from yours is wrong, because that's wrong. Everyone's opinion is valuable, and we all have reasons for believing what we believe. So all we're trying to do is reach out with an olive branch and try to create some interest in our subject and possibly motivate people to, if they already agree with us, to go ahead and follow through on something. Okay, I'm looking forward to your speeches. Remember, keep it simple. Don't try to tackle something too hard. We need you to keep your timing between 5 and 7 minutes. Okay, it's very important. We have a very short period of time to do this. We're bumping up to the end of the semester. So 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll be done. All right. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I will see you.
All right, so we are going to stop right there. Again, there are 4 types of audiences. You have the positive, uninterested, opposed, which is hostile, and then, oh, I'm sorry for the lighting, and uninformed, okay? So we are going to move forward. Please, 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 if you need to ask questions, make sure also that if you need to please go back to this video in this lecture so that you can understand the different audience types. And again, they're right here on your screen, okay? Just FYI. And again, if you have questions, please reach out to me and stay tuned for the next set of lectures. Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful day, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.